So today we got a 1980 or 81 Chevy. I ain't checked the vent or anything yet. Haven't even looked underneath the hood. It was stuck when I bought the truck and couldn't get it open, but on the way home it popped open, and we're about to look underneath there in a minute. She's been sitting for about 29 to 31 years. Supposedly gas got too high, or they got another vehicle, something like that, and they parked her. She is the long wheelbase model, and she's got the normal rust in the cab corners, and you know, the cab corners are about falling off of it. The floor pan over on that side's gone, but she's worth at least $2. Other than that, she smells like a gas station on the inside. You know, you got the fast food smell along with the Pall Malls and maybe some expired beer, because it stinks. But we're going to leave this old door open, and I guess we'll go around here and see what the engine looks like. I hope it's actually a 350, because it's supposed to be a 350 4-bolt main, but it might just be a junky little 302. Well, there we go. Oh boy. I guess it really does have the Chevy mouse motor, or rat motor, whatever you want to call it. It looks like a pack rat's, you know, had a heyday in here. What do we got? Smells like old gas. I bet there's fuel in the tank, probably. We got a bunch of chewed wires. See what our oil situation looks like. Well, it's got oil in it. I mean, it don't look bad. There's no metal on the dipstick, at least. There we go. Let's see here. Someone's just, you know, venting the blow-by outside to the environment, so it's not environmentally friendly. It does have the little pollution control intake, or whatever that little side block is. Got the big old air cleaner, because, you know, it makes a lot of horsepower. We're going to have to shop vac everything off. The belt's broke. It's always a good sign. Alternator's free. Engine was supposed to be just rebuilt when it was put in here, or at least only have a few thousand miles on it, but with the amount of oil and nastiness on it, I'm gonna say she probably got upwards of 30, 40,000 at least on it, or who knows, it may actually be a newer engine. But we're gonna vacuum all this up here real quick. Let's see if we got any juice in the brakes first. Oh, well, they're actually full, I'll be. But do they work? Sure, that master cylinder's locked up after that long. Oh boy. You never get used to the smell of these things. It still has brakes, I think. Yep, I'll be. I've never had one that sat that long and the master cylinder not be locked up, but I just made a mess with brake fluid. But that's okay. At least she has brakes, maybe. We do have the optional mag wheels in the rear and the factories on the front. Not sure what they were going with. Maybe more traction in the back for, you know, them good old burnouts, because that's what we're going to do with them once we get her up and running. So we got the good old shop vac hooked up, and we're going to remove some of this filth before we even start messing with it. The fan belt's off of it, and looks like it has an electric fuel pump somewhere down there. So we're going to get rid of all this stuff off of it, then start messing with her. She shouldn't be locked up, but you never know. Got a good amount of all that rat nest junk cleaned up off of here. There's still quite a bit we're going to have to chip off with a screwdriver, then vacuum out, because pack rats are good at packing things. And it did a number on this one. As you can see, this stuff's just packed in there as tight as can be. I'm not sure what all it packed in there. It may be the rat itself packed in there. You never know. Ooh, I broke something there. But with all these hoses and stuff that's not connected, that one's chewed off, but we don't need that one to run. We're not going to have any headlights. The main power cable kind of looks a little rough, but let's beat this loose. Carburetor looks like. I hope it ain't. It shouldn't be full of anything because, well, it's got a big old air cleaner on it. Let's see. It may take a month of Sundays to get this thing off. Yeah. That ain't gonna work. Is it not? It ain't coming off, is it? There we go. Oh boy. Air cleaner don't look too bad. Does smell like 30-year-old gas. Throw that there and see. It smells like that carburetor still got gas in it. Which shouldn't be, but it may do it. We do have a good old HEI distributor, so we ain't got no points to mess with this time. Do have the optional spark plug delete kit. That's for better fuel economy. How many of them are deleted? I think it's got 4 of them deleted. So yeah, that's the 4-cylinder option. Use half as much gas. And we got all this. That adds horsepower. Unless you get it down the carburetor, then it drops valves. I'm gonna have to say there's gas in that carburetor. And there shouldn't be, as long as this thing's been setting. Now, we're gonna have to shop vac the rest of this stuff out, and then I guess we can throw a battery on this thing and see if we have crankage. I mean, the engine's not perfectly cleaned up, but it's a lot better than what it was. And the rest of that stuff, we got most of it away from the headers, but most of that sticks now. Still can't see the starter or get to it from the top side, so if she ain't working, we'll have to use the starter adjuster and lay underneath the truck. But it seems like everything's here on it, which is a good sign, so maybe it actually was running when it was parked. Go grab the battery, throw this thing on there, and turn the key and see what we get. If it's got an electric fuel pump, it'll probably try to pump fuel if there's anything left in the tank, and we don't want that in the carburetor. But what's the chances that electric fuel pump actually still works? Woo! That's not a good sign. Something's drawing juice. The key ain't even on either. Key don't work, maybe. See here. The smell in here is just terrible. We got the good old sticky GM steering wheel. Wonder what that's about. I can tell you what that's about. I may or may not have hooked them up backwards. We just took them up right this time. What was that? Oh no, we can't have that. Maybe not. Need a bigger pair of these, I guess. Oh no, it works. I'm not sure how that fuel pump was primed still. Because like I said, this thing's been setting for... Yeah, that gas ain't no good. See what we get. Well, it ain't working now. Huh. It's working just a second ago. Oh, there we go. It don't look too bad. I wish I knew where it hooked up at, because we'd unhook it. But my best idea is just to get a bucket and put it underneath. I got a oil catch bucket thingy down there, so at least it won't be going on the ground, I don't think. Oh, it quit working. It's working now. It may even run off that gas, but I ain't gonna try it. The brake light's on, so we're getting juice. Now we're not getting juice. Bad ground, or even just a bad battery connection, because you can see the fuel pump quit working. Probably hearing the wire where it's all mangled. We got another battery cable in, and I stripped this one off as best I could. Probably could have got some better tools and did it easier, but we're working with what we have out here instead of going in the shop. And just gonna throw this end on there, and that should fix our clicking problem. And as long as we get crankage at the starter, it shouldn't take very long to get her running. And I haven't checked yet to make sure she is a 350, but I mean, it should be. These did come with 305s though. The chances of it being a 4-bolt main, you never know, because 4-bolt main was really mainly in the 70s, but it could be. Well then, that didn't help us none. I would have swore that was the problem. It ain't no way it's the other side. Is it this side? No? Maybe I turned the key off. There's a chance in that too, but I doubt it. Yeah, I turned the key off. Now the fuel pump works. We got brake and seatbelt light. Oh, there we go. We have crankage. The engine's not locked up. That's always a good sign. And we're making a heck of a mess in the bucket with the fuel. I don't know where the top to the little squirt jug went, but at least we got something to pour gas in this thing with. I'd like to know who made that electric fuel pump on this though, because the fact it's lasted 29 to 31 years sitting out there in the weeds is quite amazing, because I bought some new ones before and they've only lasted 3 or 4 days. So that one right there's got to be high quality. We're about to make a mess here. You always want to get a lot of gas on the engine so that if it backfires, you can catch it on fire. And we'll just pour some down in there. We're gonna see if she'll run off 4 cylinders, I guess, or even get 5. Let's see what she does now that she's actually got some gas in her. It's trying. That starter's not sounding good, but it's trying. Starter sounds pretty rough, like a handful of bolts in a blender, but that's how Chevy starters sound sometimes. We're gonna actually put some plug wires on it now we know she's cranking over, and see what we get out of that. Oh, that could be a... Well, that one's done the delete. I guess it goes right there. I don't even know. Listen, it might be that one, but I doubt it. They've chewed on all these dadgum spark plug boots too. There's a few of these that ain't bad. I'm gonna track down some spark plug wires and we're gonna throw them on here and she'll fire up. So we got some of them universal fit spark plug wires that I put on just about everything from a Diamond T to a 29 Chevy, because they're cut where they fit on anything and then in or on any distributor. So we're gonna plug them up here and see what we get. We do have 4 wires on that side now. Some of them were just unplugged for some reason. I say the rat was trying to get her running and was trying to diagnose which spark plugs were bad and all that, you know, by undoing a cylinder, see if it had any drop valves. You never know what pack rats do in their free time. So we got 2 of them off on this side, and I think that's it. There's one. I know that's number 08. So pop that bad boy off there. We're just gonna set these on here for now. That's not the best way to do this, but it's what we're gonna do. Plug that one on there, and we got 8 sparkulator wires. Give her a good drink of this gasoline. Didn't really want that much, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. So we're gonna crank the key and see what we get. She's got gas in her. She's got 8 spark plug wires, so she should fire up maybe. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Maybe we ain't getting enough fuel. Find the gas pedal in here. Ugh. Sounds like she's out of time, like bad out of time. Or something like that, because it ain't sounded right. May have a rocker arm or something off, or multiple rocker arms off. I guess, let's see here. Pull that distributor cap off here in a second. Rock her on over and get her on top dead center and see where we be setting. So we got the distributor cap on there. We got the good old coil wire plugged up and all its fancy pieces and parts. So we're gonna fill her up with some more gas. Hopefully not backfire through the carb and catch the bucket of fuel underneath the truck on fire and everything else. But we'll get to that if that happens. She ain't one to run right. Ain't even want to start now. So we'll crank her on back a little bit and see what we get there. Crank her on. We'll crank her further back than what she was, just out of curiosity, before we pull them valve covers and everything, because we're probably going to end up having to do that. You never know though, she might fire right up. She trying. It's almost like we got seems like we're out of time, but it's almost like we have a loose rocker arm or a valve that's sticking, something like that. But we're gonna crank her back a little bit more just for fun and see what we get. Could have a jump timing chain, you never know. Ooh. She trying. Boy, that starter sounding worse and worse. Nah, she ain't running there. Just trying to maneuver around a little bit until we figure out the happy spot. Move her on back to here. Because I really don't know where they got her timed at or anything at the moment. We are running without number one. It's okay though. We don't need it anyway. Not too bad. I can tell you what's wrong with it. But she does run. Ish. Still kind of raining, but we filled the old transmission up with some fluid, so she should be ready to go once we fire her up in a minute and see if we have any gears and any brakes. The gears we have to have. Now the brakes are optional. If we don't have any gears, we don't get to go anywhere. Hook the old battery up and that fuel pump's still a-pumping. I don't think that thing's ever gonna quit pumping. Close the hood a little bit and we're gonna fire her up and see if we can get anywhere. Or at least move a little bit. I did put air in all four of the tires. The rear ones hold air pretty good. This one over here, I didn't want to put any more. It's already flat, never mind. It had air in it just like 10 seconds ago. We're gonna fire her up and see what we get. I think she's in park. Come on. Well, she's in gear now. Not much in the way of brakes, but we do have gears. At least she runs, kinda. I'm sure I ran over my gas jug thing that I had underneath it. I don't know where it's at. Huh, at least we're off the ramps now. She does have gears. Sitting a little sideways because that one tire refuses to hold air for very long. She moves. Guess it's now time to hook up a little bit of a fuel system and see how she does. We're running on 7 cylinders. We're about to get some today now, and I got all the bolts out of the valve cover, about to pull it off of there. Got us a screwdriver to pry it off. I've cleaned all the gunk that was around it off of it by scraping it off with the good old chisel, screwdriver, crowbar all in one here. And I'm thinking, since the way it's running, it's probably, like I said, the rocker arms. Probably one of them in here, probably one back here is off. And I'm pretty sure there's some off on this side. Or it could be a flat spot in the cam. But, oh yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Right there. And I'm gonna say, is she bent? Nah, she don't look too bent. I'm gonna say we got a sunk lifter right there. As you can see, I guess it was rebuilt because someone spray painted it and we got spray paint on the rocker arms. Rest of these, none of them seem like they're coming off just yet. This one seems like, well, there was the problem right there. Whoever put these on put this sucker on way too tight. And I'm sure that good old lifter right there's sunk. Or it may have just been off the lifter. Let's see here. Well, I'll be. Oh, no. There's the lifter. I'm gonna say she's just off the lifter. Or that lifter may be sunk down in there because it's wore. Rest of them don't seem too terrible. We're gonna tighten that down and fire her back up and see what she does. Oh, that sounds like... She's just loose, that's all it is. So we got about 8 cylinders now. Carburetor's decided to spring a leak. And we do have some holes in our vacuum line here that could be causing it to not run properly. So we have some vacuum line repair tape here. And we're gonna tape her up pretty good, because that always seems to work. We don't even really need that line, but we're gonna fix it and make it right. Hopefully she don't leak too much vacuum out of this one. There we go, just like brand new. And I guess I'll just tape the end off here for now while we watch these valves and see what they're gonna do. She may pop back off there, she may not. I did Google the old head number and well, they're the worst set of heads Chevy ever made. So that's a good sign. So if they did put some better heads on it, I'd hate to know what was on it. They're a lightweight casting, says the good old internet, and a whole bunch of other things that don't sound too good about them. Well, now that the vacuum leak's fixed and we kind of, you know, well then, it seems that lifter or that camshaft lobe may be a little rough, but it sure does look like that stud just keeps pulling out of there. And I'm gonna have to say that's what's going on here, because if you look at these, then you look at this, and that stud's doing the old delete, which some of these are bad about doing that. Because the further we crank this down, we were out of threads now almost. Yeah, that stud's doing the good old delete. We're gonna get a hammer and do what you're not supposed to do, and you know, give her a couple taps here in a minute. Because this is the one that's messing us up. We're down a rocker arm. We can't get all them high performance powers out of the thing with that down. I'm gonna say that's why it was parked. These are a junk set of heads, and that probably came off and it started popping and not running right. They were messing with the timing, and then they messed with the timing, got it off, and it wouldn't run. And they just parked her because she wasn't worth messing with. Gas guzzler with a quadra junk on her, and probably an old truck then. Well, 29 years ago. Wouldn't be too old, but they probably just got them something better and parked the old long wheelbase truck. This side doesn't seem to have any rocker arms off, so that side's our only problem. Doesn't seem like she has enough brakes or really power to do a burnout on her own. We tried that. We even tried chalking the wheel up there, but she ain't got enough brakes to do a wheel stand, and the chalk didn't do very good because it just kind of slid forward. But we're going to take her around here and park her back there in the field somewhere with the other ones, and we're going to find out what we're going to do with that motor later on. We need the hood off of it for something else, and probably going to put that motor in something else later on, or we might keep the old truck together. Not sure yet. Next week you guys should see a video on the old 29 GMC. We're going to get her driving after 81 years hopefully, and also put the wood in the cab and put her back together. We only got one door for the old girl, but I think she'll get up and move after 81 years because transmission's there, clutch seems to work and all that stuff. But we're going to fire her up and drive her around through there and down through the field and back around and park her somewhere until we need her. We do have like 4 pounds of oil pressure, which is always a good sign. The alternator works, but the temperature gauge doesn't. Hopefully we don't do another battery delete through here. Oh, we don't have any brakes now. Huh. That must have been what all that fluid on the ground was. Gonna want to take the high side to this one. Ooh. seems like a good enough parking place. There we go. Well, thank you guys for watching this video, and hopefully you liked it. We got this whole truck up and running after she's been setting for 29 years, and she won't sit here very long. Just moving her out of the way because we got to move the 29 around and clean some of the stuff up there. But thank you guys for watching. If you like this content, please consider subscribing and maybe leaving a like on this video, because we got a lot more stuff coming with the 29 GMC, the BMW, and also a bunch of other old cars that have been setting forever that we're going to get up, running, and driving.